Okay, Taurus, so let's start with their energy up here with the Knight of Swords. So this is problematic because I think it makes you feel quite tired. I think it makes you feel burdened, right? It makes you feel like, oh my God, like, I don't want to deal with this. Because I don't think you do. I don't think you want to be going through this. I don't think you want to be having a lot of these conversations, which is why you have that protective bubble all around you, because it's like you can come in but not too close, because I don't want to get too invested. I don't want to get too involved. I don't want to get too excited about any of this. And it is problematic. And I don't know that this person necessarily perceives their presence in your life as being a problem or being like interference. So I think this is your energy, Queen of Swords. For some reason, I'm feeling you taking on a very feminine vibe, even if you're like a man, right? You're taking on this very feminine quality, which is all about receptivity. So you're receiving information. You are letting things come from the outside world into you. And then you are able to process and to really think about, and then, to articulate things in a more clear fashion. I don't see Taurus going out and doing or attacking or reaching out. It's been that with all the signs. It's either like the sign is, like I say, like you go reach out to them, you call them, or like, no, wait till they call you, right? This is all about letting things come into you, Taurus. So I think they're coming out very masculine because it's them that's doing all this outreach. It's them that's like really trying to make something happen. So we have a card, the Emperor, we have the King of Cups, again, very, very Mars, both of these. And they are coming off as a Knight of Swords, but it is really important for you to know that deep down, they are truly an Emperor, they are truly a King of Cups. And see, now here I am, and I said this a lot about how it's a part of you, and it is, and I'll speak to that later on in the reading still. But here it is a part of them. Clearly they have no idea how to approach you. No idea how to appeal to you, how to appeal to your desire. Clearly they have no freaking clue. But you may have a wrong idea about it. That's why it's important to just let everything play out. That's why it's important for you to surrender, because you may have the wrong idea about it. Which is why you're having all this Five of Swords energy, the Seven of Swords, and there's all this kind of controversial stuff going on inside of you. But you may have it wrong. So here's the Emperor, King of Cups upright. They're upstanding, they're strong, they're intelligent, emotionally intelligent. And there's really a king and an emperor behind that knight. And sometimes that's what happens, right? We project a certain image to the world, but when we really get to know this person, we see the king that they really are. It's annoying because this is like a really stupid layer to have to get through. And maybe that's why there's like a delay, or maybe that's why this person is here again. That's why I was saying, like, leaving? I don't see, there's like no leaving. No leaving. No one's leaving. That's why leaving is not the thing. Leaving is not the option. Because if you left, that would be the repeating pattern. That would be the repeating habit. And I think that you know that there's an emperor down there somewhere. The question is does this person know? Some of you are going to be like, yeah, maybe this person really does know. And then others of you, you're like, no, this person has no clue that they're really an emperor. Maybe this is a classic case of like seeing potential in someone and basing a future on potential. For many of you, I think this person knows that you're the one. This is bad. This is codependent. It's not good. But in a way, they know that you're the one that's going to help them become that emperor, or let that emperor free. It's already in them. They already have it. They already are. But it's going to let them be free. It's also not your responsibility, though. So you are, it's a hard decision for you to make, because you just want this person to just be this person. You want them to be the emperor. You don't want them to be the Knight of Swords. You want them to step up to the plate. You want them to say, let's do this. Let's approach this. Let's make this happen. Let's set these goals. Let's do this. Let's get married, or whatever the thing is. You don't want to have to be the babysitter or the mommy or the daddy, right? You don't want to be the parent. And maybe that's something that you need to say. Because deep down, this person's emperor is going to hear the words that you say. The knight might not like it, which is why the knight might run away. And that's fine. They can come in, ricochet, and run away if that's what they need to do. Although I don't necessarily think they're gone forever, they're just gone to process. But if you speak to them as though they are an emperor, not as though they are a Knight of Swords, while it may take a while for them to really understand what it is you're saying and what it is you're wanting from them, or what it is you're needing from them, and how they need to change or modify their behavior, they will hear it. And they likely will step into that role. Because I think they want to. Because they're doing the Saturn-Pluto thing too. Just like we all are. So they want to. They want to become that emperor and to live into those shoes. I think this person has your heart too. I often say the King of Cups is the keeper of your heart. And for whatever reason, that's why you can't leave. That's why you're not, kicking them to the curb, because you do care about them, and you do care about their well-being, and you care about their safety, and you care about, maybe some of you it is romantic, so you do want a relationship with them. Ultimately, you do. But you want a relationship with these guys, not with this one. But they're a good guy. They're a good person, male or female, down there somewhere. So when you speak to them, you have to speak to them real clear, real direct, real honest, and as though they are the emperor. Let's put the emperor up top. Okay? You may have been the one that disrupted awakened this, kind of like how they talk about the awakening of the Kundalini. It's kind of like shakes and kind of, takes a while to spiral. It doesn't always spiral all the way up. And I feel like it's kind of the same concept with the emperor. Like, you are the one that sort of disrupted this emperor energy within them. Like, you're the one that makes them want to be a better person. And so you disrupted them, and they're just having a hard time bridging the gap between who they, with all the stuff they used to be able to get away with. They're not able to get away with that stuff with you. So you're pushing them to become better, and you're also the one that started that whole process in the first place. I think they genuinely want to become better. The question is will they? And when I say better, I just mean more like an emperor, more mature, more kind, or less selfish, or whatever, Now, Six of Coins reversed, the Fool. Like I was saying, there's a lot of in the meantime energy for you guys. So in the meantime, while all this kind of is going down, you're not putting your life on hold. And I think you have really amazing things in front of you in terms of your career and just your enjoyment of life. If any of you are wanting to travel, I think there's good things. I think there's a lot of new ideas coming to the table for you, maybe new business ventures or new creative ways to make more money so you can quit your job or something like that, So there's a turnover. This whole thing with this person is not an all-consuming energy. There are so many other different things going on. But it's the everyday life, the everyday practice. Did we get the Eight of Coins? Yeah, which we'll talk about in just a second. But, it's the everyday, mundane, regular world stuff This is how you surrender. Sorry for the booming, it is 4th of July. But that's how you surrender. That is where you should be putting your attention. When you need to deal with this stuff, you can deal with it, but it's not all day long, every day for the next 2 weeks, you know? I have swords. So when I say greedy, I mean real greedy. Like, good for you. Honestly, good for you. I know that Uranus is agitated with the Mars square, right? Uranus-Mars square. So the Uranus in your sign is agitated. And there may be a few things in your life that you really believed that are being revolutionized now. Things that you really wanted that now aren't necessarily so important to you. So there may be certain modifications to what you want, okay? But I'm still holding fast to, like, be greedy with your resources. Be greedy with your time. Keep that for yourself. Don't give too much to this whole thing, all right? The change or the shift in a value or in a belief or something that you want. And I've been using the example of babies because it is Capricorn Cancer season. We have the Cancer Capricorn axis. That might not necessarily be too applicable for you, but I'll keep using that analogy. So let's say at one point you were like, I don't want kids. I don't want to get married. I just am happy being single and whatever. And then all of a sudden now you're like, well, maybe I'll be open to that option now. Maybe I will be open to that option. The option of having children, the option of settling down, quote unquote, or whatever. And that changeover may impact this person. Continuing with the kids, we have kids here, continuing with the kids, like this may have been like a casual relationship at one point, and now you're change your mind of like, okay, now I'm ready to have kids, and this person's like, oh damn, really? Well, now there's a reason why they can step into that Emperor energy now. Do you see what I mean? So your change and your shift is having an impact on them to some regard, right? And it may bring them into your life more, or it may push them away, depending on how ready they are for it. You still can't really see the impact of that shift though, because it's a little too fresh. It's a little bit too new. And maybe it hasn't even happened yet. You know, maybe over the course of the next 2-3 weeks is when it's going to happen. So, you know, you can be steadfast in the things that you believe, but only to a degree. I think it's, you know, an ignorant person that's not willing to change their mind, you know, or to be convinced otherwise. I think it's important for us to always be open to a different way of thinking. So, yeah. Okay. Page of Cups. The ricochet. It's like pew, pew. I think this person is, like I said, there is pain. I don't know that they're going to be really open to talking about it too much. I don't necessarily see them as being super chatty. This is probably someone who'd rather just go out and have a good time with you rather than sit and talk to you. Again, talking might be a little too painful for them. They haven't examined themselves enough. They're not as psychologically, you know, complete, so to speak. There's just a lot left to uncover, which we all have a lot to uncover. This person tries to avoid pain. They try to run away from pain. If you really want to talk to this person, take them out for drinks. Take them out for a meal. Take them out for, you know, a nightclub or something, and get them into a state of relaxation, because they're really tightly wound. Like, they really need to just freaking relax. This is probably someone that just is like going all the time. Always a goal, always some kind of an ambition or whatever, that they just simply never took the time to get over things or to heal from things. Like, that concept is not in their vocabulary. I think this person is, like I said, they're only really going to talk if they feel like they're in a safe environment, if it's like fun, you know. Don't sleep with them because they might get the wrong impression that you're just like open for, you know, something casual. If you are, great, but I have a feeling you're not really in that mindset right now. It's a little too emotional time of year for that. But here we have the Empress. Here you are. The drama. I have to laugh at the drama just because it's so like predictable. And I really think it's so pesky. It's so annoying to you. While you may be changing things, right? You may be altering your life goals, or there may be some like really big thing, like the kids thing that's being revised in your life narrative. While that may be going on, I think the whole time, no matter how old this connection is, no matter whatever it is that's going on, I think that you've always remained a pretty consistent person. You're always kind, you're always sweet, you're always giving, generous, that kind of thing. So that part of you hasn't changed at all. And I think that's why you're so annoyed. It's because you're like, I've been this way the whole time. You know, like, I haven't changed. Like, why didn't this catch on the first time? Or why didn't this work out last year? Or why is this now coming back when I work so hard to get over it? Or I work so hard to move through it? But even still not a whole, like, fully absorbing, fully consuming energy. It's just something you just deal with. But here's the good stuff, right? This is the stuff that you really want. Passion. I think this person ignites passion in you, which is why I think you haven't officially closed the door, because there's a feeling there. And maybe there's a part of you that says, universe, I really, really, really wish that this feeling, this passion, this even maybe sexual connection for some of you, I really, really, really wish that this feeling was an indication of something going well. But in the past, this feeling I've had, and it's taken me down a wrong road. So maybe, Taurus, you're having a hard time trusting that feeling because you don't want to get caught up in the feeling either. You are, yes, being asked to surrender. It's a good idea to not necessarily act on that passion yet. I think this is not necessarily a blossoming of something, but rather a seed being planted of something else that's going to blossom later on in the year. That's what I'm getting a feeling from this. All the information that you're receiving is just putting something in the ground. You're just like laying the groundwork. It's all very foundational. If you feel stuck, you feel like you can't move on, it's the nature of the season. Don't stress, okay? Five of Swords. Oh my gosh, I'm talking so much. I'm so sorry. This Mercury retrograde has been kicking my butt so far. I can't even tell you how many times I started this reading for you guys. It's a miracle I've made it this far. Okay, so Five of Swords. The World, which is the turnover, and it's a slow Saturnian turnover. We have the Wheel of Fortune here as well. Both of these indicate that, again, seeds being planted. There's only potentials here. I think this person doing this whole negative reverse thing, it's planting seeds too. Like, you guys are planting seeds together for something else. Like, I don't know, this is definitely not the end of the story, but it's definitely the end of the same story. So your story is going to become different now. For some of you, this may be like an ex, and now it's like becoming a very real friendship. For others of you, this is a past business deal that might actually now start taking you in a new direction with a whole new idea, right? So there's a lot of creative energy. There's a lot of electricity between the two of you. You definitely like ignite one another in some kind of way. You ignite one another. You feed off of each other in a really cool way. Like, I don't think it's unhealthy. I think it's really cool. So now is a time for you to not dwell so much on how this is toxic or how this is bad or, oh my God, here we are again. But maybe focus on how this is going to be revised. Sorry. How is this going to be different? How are you going to be different? And how is this going to change your life? Because I think some of you, this is a life-changing turning point. Even if all they do is give you an interesting idea, that's still a turning point, you know? I'm wondering if some of you are more afraid of this being a 5 of Swords, 7 of Swords situation. You're more afraid of it being that than it actually is. Like I said, there's still an Emperor under here. They have it. They have that inside of them. And you might be the person that's making them realize that they actually want to live that way. The things we do to ourselves just by being like who we are, right? It is an ending of the 7 of Swords. There's no place for this here. There's no reason for you to feel all worked up in a tizzy. There is some kind of universal, right? The star, the wheels. There is some kind of universal support. There's a reason why this person is coming in. You don't have to try to find the reason. You just have to trust it. You don't have to give a lot. And honestly, I don't really know. I think you're going to maybe perceive them as wanting a lot from you, but I don't really know now. Once I pulled out those cards in the general reading on that's on YouTube, right? I was like looking, I'm like, I don't know that this person really needs that 6 of coins from you. You might just simply be on guard because you think that's what they're after. That's not really what they're after. They're after the big picture kind of stuff, whether it's for themselves or with you. Either way, they're after the big picture stuff. So they're not really coming to you. They may be coming to you in a time of desperation, but I don't think they're actually desperate. Does that make sense? Yes, it is a little contradictory. I totally get it. That's what happens in the comprehensive readings. Still don't give them too much though, okay? Even though it's not really what they're after, don't give them the concrete stuff. Keep it in the realm of talking things through. Clearly this person, like I said, they have an effect on you. They might make you feel quite sad. They might make you feel a little bit very in Cancer season, very Cancerian, feeling you may perceive yourself as not having power here, but remember, it's not true. You are the one in the power seat. You might need to tell this person once and for all, like really, really, really how they made you feel, how what they are doing now makes you feel. Communicating feelings, I know you're a Taurus, I know that can be hard, but communicating feelings is the way to take this into the future. It's the way to take this season and transmute it into something incredibly positive. Now, I know there was a lot of tough stuff, but ultimately the story is ending in a really positive way. It is. You might just need a little time to figure out how to do that or what it is that really needs to be said. But I think some of you, and it's by standing your ground, like by really expressing your feelings and, you know, by doing this Queen of Swords thing, communicating feelings and emotions, it might kind of freak them out a little bit and it might hurt them a little bit. But honestly, you know, that's the only thing that's really true is like how they impacted you. They just simply might be oblivious to the fact that they had a particular impact on you. I think you might be dealing with someone who's willing to rectify past mistakes, who's willing to go about doing it in a different way, you know? Now, I don't really know how much we need to talk about this stuff. I think there's so many good things happening for you in every other area of your life. It's weird how this whole reading is so much about this one situation, but yet in reality, this is such a small part of everything else. You have a lot to do. And come Leo season, come Virgo season, I think you're going to feel those working wheels pick up, and you're going to feel that desire to just keep that train chugging and just boom, 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 forward, 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 always moving forward in the things that you have control over. You know, like you have control over what time you go to bed, you have control over how much work you get done in a day, most of the time, not always, but most of the time. You know, you have control over those things, and I see you feeling empowered by doing those things. And that's part of your surrender, like we said. Not a lot of movement here. Here we have the Four of Swords, the Strength card. This person does make you feel weak. They do have some kind of power over you, or they had some kind of power over you, but now that that's different, now that they don't have that power over you anymore, hopefully you don't feel as drained as you had in the past. All right? This is a time of being emotionally mature. That's why expressing emotions is going to be important. You don't have to like emotionally vomit all over them, but like be clear and concise about like, hey, like when you did this, it made me feel like that, and now I feel like I can't trust you again, or now I feel like everything is ruined, and I like, you know, whatever it is. They will work to rectify it. Okay? And I think there is a positive outcome for many of you. It's just a little further down the road, and you might need to get over a little bit of your pride or fear of exposing yourself, fear of vulnerability or whatever, in order to really get there. But I think most of you will get there to some extent. Okay? Alrighty. Taurus, I'm going to leave you with that. Thank you so much. I wish you nothing but the best. Take care.